Intermediate. So this is like the DIY plus a little bit extra. So from a laptop, any laptop streaming's pretty, it's not the most basic thing a laptop can do, but it's not that hard either. So as you can see, if you're using a laptop which has like Windows or something, Windows 10, then the RAM is important. That's like an IT kind of side of things. Make sure you have a laptop which has 4 to 8 gigabytes of RAM, because that will help it run smoother in general, as well as for when you're streaming. And to the laptop, you will then connect a webcam with a USB, something like this Logitech C920. We use the C930s at work, and they're very good. We use them just for the video. They have got a built-in microphone, but generally it's not going to be very good unless you're within like 2 or 3 feet of it. So we use them in our meeting rooms at work. They've got a little tripod screw hole on the bottom there as well, so you can screw that onto a tripod, and then you can mount it anywhere you like. What you may need to do, of course, is to get a USB extender, to make sure you can put it further away than the short cable that they give you, which is not very long at all. So yeah, that's Logitech webcam. These webcams do require good light in order to function well. So even more importantly, think about your lighting, because the smaller the lens, the more you need to give it. Because if the lens is really small, it's only got it can only collect a certain amount of light, whereas if you've got a bigger lens, it can collect more amount of light, which is good for images. Then you need a microphone for audio capture. So this could be just even a simple lapel microphone, if it's just you talking, or like a room microphone, like John was saying earlier about the little spider microphones you can get. We use those at work, expensive ones, but they're very good. Obviously, the cheaper you go, the more you'll compromise on quality. So yeah, it can be a little bit trial and error sometimes.
How much are those Logitech webcams?
Well, before COVID, they're about £50 to £80.
That was my next question.
But after COVID, they were like £200. It's just been absolutely mental.
Looks like there's some C920s on Amazon for £90 now.
Yeah.
They're in stock in October.
Yeah.
There's still lots of problems with those because I've not looked. We couldn't get one when we tried because the kids were using my webcam during lockdown. Yeah,
well, I think all the supply chains of pretty much everything, even from webcams to decking, as Tim might be able to tell you, is delayed from China because that's where they're all made and that's where they're all shut down over January through to, I think it was March, I guess, wasn't it? We've had real problems where I work at getting equipment and making sure that we can, people can do what they need to do in terms of virtual meetings. And webcams have been a real trial.
But they were sort of the £80 mark before the lockdown, so that's not out of £90 is not out of.
No, yeah, that's not too bad. I think it was the 930Es, which are like the enterprise business kind of aimed products, which have gone through the roof.
Yeah, 200.
Yeah, and if you go for like one of these cheaper other brands, you might get a good one, you might not. It's like all these things on Amazon. You can't really trust reviews, etc. But if you want to take a punt, then take a punt. As long as it's got USB on it, it will do the job. The only thing I would warn against is not using it for a microphone as well, because it won't be a good microphone. You get out of a hole, but it won't be a good one. Sorry, yes, go.
Sure, sorry, this is going to make me sound really lazy, right? And you've already obviously spent quite a bit of time already putting all this together, yeah? But at the end of this, would you better send us like the cheapo kit list the reasonably good kit list and the really good kit list, and then like, is that all right?
Yeah, I think that was.
Or I can scribble part numbers down now, but like, yeah, but it's whatever's easiest for you. But that'd be so cool, because then I could just like forward it to Matt and go, Matt,
This is
that's a
what we
bit
need.
rubbish and it's not really worth buying. But this, we need this much money. Can we have it? And then go and buy it, hopefully.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, can do that.
If you come and visit us and we've got all the cheapo stuff, you'll know Matt's really tight.
Well, I'm quite tight anyway. So the software that you may want to use, you can either use the inbuilt kind of systems that you use on YouTube, like just within the browser, it will pick up the webcam and the audio device that you've got connected, and then you can just go. But if you want to put other stuff in, like some, some Bible verses or something, then you can use OBS, which I'll go into.
Song lyrics is the one.
Song lyrics, of course, yeah, and other things like that. I'll go into OBS. I'm going to switch over to our PA PC here, and show you a few bits on there as well. So I'll go into that in a minute. And that's free software. It's very powerful. I would probably say 80% of the people on YouTube are using it to do their streaming, if not more. There's loads of guides on how to use it, loads of videos on YouTube, funny enough, of how to use OBS to stream to YouTube, or to other like streaming platforms like Facebook and Twitch and all these other funky things. So an option that I would say you could maybe add to this just to up it a notch is to have a chat moderator. So if you're streaming to YouTube, you've got the live chat and people are chatting, saying this is great, love this, or this is rubbish, or amen, or can you pray for this? Having someone on there, especially signed in to moderate the chat and say, hi, if you've got any questions, ask me, or something like that. You can engage a little bit. This is probably about the most you can do with streaming in terms of engaging with the people who are watching, is having someone on there talking back to people in a kind of official capacity, saying what's going on, or if they've got an issue. So that's like intermediate. You can see a few pictures there, one of OBS, one of a webcam, and one of a USB microphone, the Blue Yeti, I believe. It's fairly pricey, but it was very, very good. Like Pete suggests, I will put together a little list of bargain basement, middle of the road, and top of the range kind of products that you can use. Any questions before we hit the advanced section?
True. Can I ask one more?
Yeah.
We're probably going to do like prayer meetings and stuff like that. Yeah, so some people will be in the church hall, and some older people, or those with a vulnerable state, they don't want to come to the hall. So, can you hear me, all right?
Yep.
Yeah, cool. So, how practical is it for them, for the chat moderator? Say, I don't know, Brian is at home. I really kind of want those guys to be able to engage in the prayer meeting. How easy is it for them? Could they send a message on the chat, and then the chat moderator says, "Oh, Brian's just cooking up a prayer here. He's ready to go," and then we can like make some space for him. Is that, and then could he talk through his laptop microphone and it come through the PA in some way, or am I getting?
So yeah, you can do that. That is it's possible. It's a bit more complicated because he'll start speaking through his laptop. That'll come out the PA speakers. Then it will go back into the video conference call through the microphones in the hall, and then you'll get a feedback loop. And it will be quite tricky. I mean, unless you mute everyone in the hall while Brian is praying, then fine. But for the quick two-way interaction, it can be hard to coordinate from a technical point of view. Yeah.
I wonder if it might be worth mentioning that at the moment with YouTube, there's about a 10-second delay.
Yeah.
So those that are viewing are actually 10 seconds behind the live meeting.
That's right.
So you have to take into account that he might want to pray, but you've already moved on 10 seconds, which is a decent amount of time, but it may be okay. And depending on people's internet connections, if they're watching on a TV or if they're watching on a computer or phone, there's different delays for those devices as well. Again, it might be seconds, but it can make a difference.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I think the only way Pete's situation would work is if you were using a Zoom call and you were doing like a hybrid call where you have a hall full of, not full of, a hall with some people in it, and then people dialing in remotely as well. Yeah, unless you've got echo cancelling microphones and all that kind of stuff, it can get messy. But yeah.
Okay, all right.
I mean, I'm not saying don't give it a go, but it can get messy. Yeah.
Bit of trial and error probably before.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'd say so.
That's
And,
cool.
and be prepared for some ringing ears.
Hi, Drew. Drew, are you going to be talking about that Zoom idea in a bit more detail later?
Yes.
Okay, great.
Well,
Thanks.
yes, I think I was going to mention it later. Yeah. Okay.
Drew, I take it echo cancelling microphones are quite expensive.
Yes. It's because they do the automatic kind of gaining that they don't they automatically turn down as soon as someone's speaking, and vice versa, and then they open up. So unless you've got someone on the mixing desk turning them up and down, really quickly, that's the cheap way of doing it, I guess, cheap labour. Yeah, that would be the way that I've seen it done before, and it can work. Obviously, just needs a bit of coordination.
Cool.
So